At last, we have the honor to have Victòria Alsina, that is the Minister of Foreign Action and Open Government of Catalonia, to close the summit. Thank you. The stage is yours.
Què tal? Molt bon dia. Dear participants, it's really a pleasure to be here with all of you. I was just observing this wonderful spot in which we are located, all of us today. And I should say, first of all, to thank you, the organizers, for making this event and this conversation possible. I've been reviewing, indeed, the programs and the conversations that took place before. And I should say that it is an honor to speak in front of an audience that, at the end of the day, is committed to making both our society, our economy, much more connected to the knowledge that we need to design the public policies of the future and to design where we want to be. So it's really an honor to be here. Thank you for the opportunity. And I wanted to focus my words to the two portfolios that I have as part of the Catalan government that I think that are deeply connected to what we are talking today with all of you, right? As part of my portfolio, I have the competences, first of all, on foreign action. So I lead the international agenda of the Catalan government. And as part of that, I should say that we are building a specific project to use all this foreign action to better capture the knowledge that we need for our society and our future. So I wanted to briefly talk about that. But I mainly wanted to talk about the second portfolio that I'm leading inside the government, that it is precisely the open government portfolio. Because when we talk about open government, we are talking, in other words, on how we can better use the collective intelligence that is spread around for a better decision making and to change the culture and to change the way we govern, right? So I wanted to make a few reflections to share them with all of you, all of them connected to how the public sector can positively contribute, to the challenges that we are facing as a society. And I wanted to start sharing with all of you a couple of ideas that I think that frame well the conversation that needs to happen at the public sphere level. And indeed, these couple of reflections connect with the idea that governments and public institutions have been, approving laws and policies for decades. And we had the understanding that more or less these public institutions worked appropriately, improving the living conditions of our societies from one generation to the next one, right? So that's a kind of consensus that with different terms in each, of course, country and city, we all had in mind. But I think that there is also a broader consensus that is spread in all these international conversations that are taking place around the world that connects to the fact that nowadays, governments are not as effective as they should in some policy domains. The ones that connect with talent, the ones that connect with innovation, the one that connects with some of the challenges that we have. And I think that this is also part of an international conversation that is worthy to connect to what you are discussing here today. And indeed, we are living, and this is another consensus that we may all agree, that we are living uncertain times. And this is especially true for the youth generations. Yesterday, we were celebrating the Day of Europe, and this year in the European Union, as you all know well, it's the Year of the Youth. And there are happening around a lot of debates connected to that, to this uncertainty, to how the youth generations can better shape their professional careers, their life plans, etc., etc. And I think that the message that the youth receive in Europe and around the world connects precisely with you cannot take it for granted anymore, that you will have a better job, that you will have, what you need to freely plan your future, and you need to get used to it. You will have 5 or 6 jobs in your life, at least, etc., etc., etc. This combined with the challenges that we all know, inequalities growing, populism's rising, global challenges as the climate change, touching all our societies. And if we need to describe everything in one word, I will say that the word is complexity. So public institutions that are not efficient enough in a world full of complexities that are difficult to tackle. And here is where all this debate around talent and all this debate about open government, I think it's worth it to have, and it's worth it to frame. So then the way is how we can better, face these complexities and how we can give a better answer. And here, I like to always say that it's not only about what to do. The what to do is very relevant, of course. It's also about how to do it, right? And the open government helps us, the talent and everything that comes with that, it connects with the what, but it also connects with the how to do it. And we need to, of course, think outside the box, and we need to, I think, work at least in 3 different dimensions that I wanted to briefly discuss with you. The first one, the need to incorporate public-private collaboration mechanisms to improve the sources of information that we have and the subsequent decision-making that takes place. And this is one of the dimensions that I wanted to share with all of you. A second dimension is connected to how we can better use the collective intelligence of the people. In the past, I think that we referred to that too much in terms of public participation. But the problem is that when we talk about in the framework of the open government world, right? So collaboration, participation, transparency. So when we talked about participation in the past, we were focusing too much in capturing the preferences of the people and translating those preferences to improve the legitimacy of the decisions we took. And that's fine, that's necessary indeed. But we need to go further. So when I said public-private collaboration, but also collective intelligence, I was referring to how we can use participation to not only capture preferences of the people, but also ideas of the people, the knowledge that the people and the institutions have, right? And also how to better use this, not only to improve the legitimacy of the decisions we take, but also the efficiency of these decisions. So we are talking about public-private collaboration. We are talking about this participation understood like capturing the collective intelligence of the people. And finally, the data, and the need to have better data and open data to support all of this. So connected to that, and starting with public-private collaboration, I just wanted to mention that we have different types, a long list of different types of stakeholders that governments need to bring closer to our table to improve this decision-making, to address these complexities, and to do it also on a more accountable way. And here we are talking about corporations, small and medium-sized enterprises, trade unions, non-profit organizations, research centers, universities, etc., etc. All of them can provide us with ideas, with information, with abilities, with resources, and with, at the end of the day, expert knowledge. So we need to incorporate and bring them closer and be closer to them for all these decisions that we need to take. And I strongly believe that almost all of them really want to contribute on a constructive way on what the government needs, on what the society needs. So I firmly believe that governments need to open to this public-private collaboration, and that these private entities, for-profit and non-for-profit, want to be in that table to improve this decision-making. I already shared with you how I understand this collective intelligence dimension, and I wanted to add only in that regard that in Catalonia we have good examples of capturing this collective intelligence of the people and to foster this public-private collaboration in very different domains. We have good examples connected to urban planning, also to cooperation for development policies, ecological production, fight against corruption. about how to strengthen public integrity, just to name a few with all of you. And when we talk about that, we cannot escape, we cannot avoid the technology conversation, right? And probably you also did and shared some reflections connected into that, because with all of this, with this collaboration, with this capturing the collective intelligence of the people, it comes technology as an opportunity to do it. But you will also agree with me that the challenges we are facing are not connected to technology. We have more technology than the one we can absorb at the public level. So here we are talking about changing the culture, we are talking about changing the procedures that we need to follow. And finally, the third dimension, the open data that I said at the very beginning. So when we are talking about open data, we are, taking our duty in taking advantage of this data revolution that we are all facing. I think that we need to commit to put data to the core of any important decision we take at the government level, and that we need to establish a dialogue between public and private data. Because if we don't combine them both, we don't have all the elements that we need. And here, it's also important to mention that this didn't happen before. So I think that if there is a pending challenge in the public sector, it's not about public-private collaboration. We already have plenty of initiatives going on. Probably we need to improve them, but we have experience on that. We also have experience in capturing more or less the collective intelligence that is spread around, but we don't have enough experience in how we can better share public and private data. And as a Minister of Open Government of Catalonia, we will put all our focus, all our energy in the forthcoming years precisely in that space. We are launching and presenting very soon a project that we call Catalonia, a Land of Data, in which we want to foster public-private collaboration for better decision-making. So we will be creating a framework that it has the support of the European Commission, that it has the support of the EU Next Generation funds, and of other regional governments that will participate as part of this project. We are doing that thinking about the need to create the legal framework, to create the mechanisms, and to create the good practices that other local governments, other governments around the world, and the companies need to move forward this type of public-private collaboration based on open data. And we will do that also experimenting how we can really work without putting in risk the ethical principles and the privacy of the citizens, of course. That's always important, and even more when you are working in the public sector. So let me stress the idea with all of you that as part of this project, the Government of Catalonia will be making a public call to ask companies, to ask public institutions to put data at the society's disposal. And as part of this project, we want to grow the data set that we already have as part of this open government portal that we created a few years ago. Now we have 1,000 data sets, but we will have 1,000 more at the end of this year, and much more in the forthcoming years due to this project and the results that we hope we will be able to obtain. So, let me finish my remarks by jumping to the other part, right? The international network of talent that we also want to grow from the Catalan perspective. We think that attracting foreign investment and attracting talent is probably the most important thing that we should do. But as part of the government, not all policies, are focused to attract this talent that we need, especially in STEM, competences, but also in using and creating a network that can bring us closer, all the Catalan network of talent that we have abroad. We are a country of almost 8 million people, and 500,000 are living outside Catalonia, are spread around the world. They have good careers that can be useful for us to create public value also here. So we are growing this project that it has as its main objective to connect with these professionals and to involve them in the public policy making of Catalonia. So that's the main goal that we want to achieve through this project. 500,000 people is the second largest city of Catalonia if you count them like that. And we cannot, stop building bridges with all of them and capturing this network of talents by specific fields that we will connect them to the policies that we move forward. At the end of the day, I think that we need to take advantage of this talent. We need to be able to absorb this collective intelligence that this talent brings to us, and we need to able to better digest the information after capturing this talent and capturing what we need to say. Because you know that when a participation process is successful, the next challenge is to digest what they told you, right? So I wanted to finish my remarks just saying thank you, just saying that as a government, we are deeply committed to these policies focused on attracting talent and fostering open government, and that we will love to also keep open an international dialogue in all those domains. So this is why having this opportunity to be with all of you here today is so relevant for all of us. Thank you so much.